Hey, Philip here. In this video, I will be showing you the basics of Godot engine. We'll download the Godot, we'll run our first project, we'll create some simple scene, we'll create a player, and we'll be moving player around. Okay, so that's the plan. I will go quickly, I'll be not stopping much, so we will have this nice fast pace. Okay, go to godotengine.org and first download Godot engine. So click here, you will choose your system for Windows or Mac, depending on what you are opening this website on, and just download the file. So click at this, download it, and just run the file. There is no installation needed. Just open the file. It will open the Godot engine. Okay, so I will just first you need to unzip it, by the way. So I will open Godot. That's how it will look like. That's how your screen will look like. We are going to create a project. So click here, this create. Choose the project name. I'll call it as a YouTube project. Project, and then project path where you want to save this project. So browse here, select here folder structure where you want to initialize the project. I should have your Godot project. If you don't have the Godot project or any folder where you want to create it, just click here this plus button here and to create your folder you want. Okay, so I should have your Godot somewhere. Godot, here is a folder. I will just click here, select current folder, press enter. So you can see my YouTube project will be in this project path. And users, Philip Godot YouTube project. Perfect. Now we'll choose the renderer. We have either forward plus, mobile, compatibility. Read all of them, but we are going with the compatibility because our game will be very simple 2D game. And the compatibility renderer supports desktop, mobile, web platforms, list advanced 3D graphics. Yeah, we are not going even for 3D, so we are not caring about this, and so on and so on. So yeah, we are going with this. We'll create. This will initialize the Godot. Okay, and we are by the default in the 3D scene. You can see it on top of the file here. We have a 3D, we have also 2D and all these options here. Then we have a root node. We can choose the root node. Let's talk about this later. And file system. So all the files will be stored here. Okay, so we are in a 3D in this Cartesian 3D system. We have a 3 axes, right? X, Y, and Z. We don't want to be in 3D. We are creating the 2D game. So let's switch to the 2D. Click here 2D. And that's much simpler. You can, by the way, just use your mouse to navigate around, right? Okay, so zoom it in, zoom it out, zoom it in, zoom it out. Okay, then you have a different tools up here. See here, selection tool, move tool, rotation tool, scale tool, and so on. You have this nice hand icon. Click on the hand. When you have a hand, you can just move around like this. Okay, select here this arrow here. But yeah, get used to the controls here. So just use the mouse to navigate around. Scroll button on the mouse. When you'll be scrolling, it will be zooming in. When you're holding the right key, hold the shift key, for example, or actually the shift key doesn't do anything. I'm not in a Unity. Okay, so just use your mouse. Get very familiar how the controls work here. Okay. So in Godot engine, we have a system of nodes. Okay, so if you want to add something to the screen, you need to create a node. You have different types of node. You have a 2D nodes. 2D nodes can have be attached to some space, to some position in the space. So the space in the Cartesian system, here's this system, start at position 0, 0. So that's your middle point. And when you're increasing the x, this is going actually this right side, and y position, this is going down here when you're increasing the y. So actually, when I have a player here, here's my player, okay, and the player is at the position 0, 0, the player is in the middle of the map. If I want to move the player to the position 120, so let's say this is 100, here is a 20, and my player will be here at 120. Okay, and player will move here on this position. Actually, let's see it in action. Okay, so here, create root node. Let's create it to this scene. Just click at this. You will see it will select the node 2D by the default. Okay, and this node 2D was added here in the middle point. There is nothing attached to it. There is a simple empty node 2D. When you want to see the actual axis of on node 2D, up here again, this menu, you have a move mode, W. If you press on the keyboard, up here, press the move mode, and you can see on this node have a red axis and y axis. So it will be increasing the x, it will be moving the right side, it will be decreasing the y, increasing the y, it will be moving down here. Okay, so to see the actual position of this, go to the node 2D, click here transform, and you see the x and y position, 16 pixels and 20 pixels. So it will be changing this around. This position x and y will be changing around as well. Okay. And everything in the Godot is composed of nodes, and nodes can be composed into the scenes. So by the way, we shouldn't be changing the position of our root node. This one, we have also warning here. So let's change the position to 0, 0 as it was before. Click here 0, 0. The warning should disappear, or there is still warning by your warning. We have reset the position, so it should be fine. Doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, that's our root node, and you see it's unsaved up here. When you will want to save, just press Ctrl or Command S on your keyboard and save this as the, let's call it, you can see the file name is called currently node2d, just call it play_scene, because everything is as a scene in the Godot, and the C is just a container for nodes. So we have this play scene, tscn, and the root of this is a node2d. We can just call it play scene like this. Okay, play scene. And under this root node, we can create more nodes. For example, we can create some enemies. So yeah, go ahead, just click here at child node, create here node2d like this. Actually, I didn't tell you how to open it. Just right click here, right click here on the play scene, right click, add child node, look for a node2d, click here node2d, and you have a node2d here. It's again empty one. When it's selected, you can move it around like this. There is nothing to it. There is nothing to display. So under the node2d, let's click on the node2d at child node and call it, find here sprite2d. We have a sprite2d. In the left side in the file system, you see this icon.svg. Drag this icon.svg into your texture in a sprite2d. So here, you will select your sprite in the left side in the hierarchy, select the sprite, and drag icon.svg into here. And it's very zoomed in, so zoom it out with your mouse, and that's the sprite. And you can move it around again. Move it around, you can also duplicate it, so click on the node2d in the hierarchy, Ctrl-D, Command-D, and you will have a second node. There is a problem, you can see the pivot point of this is much further than actual sprite. So why this is happening, actually I will first remove this node, delete it, okay. Go to this one here, you see it's further from the position, so first I'll go to transforms, change the position, and go to sprite2d and change the position here. So we will select the sprite2d and go to transform here and change the position to 0, 0. Now it's in the middle, and now when we'll move the node2d, click on the node2d here, you will be able to move it like this. Now we can duplicate it. So click on the node2d and you can duplicate it. Okay, like this. Okay. So now you can create this can be, for example, your enemies in your game, but you don't want to always create changes for all of these objects. For example, if I want to add something more to the object, let's say to this player here, this one here, this enemy here, select this node to D3, click here Ctrl-R, Command-A, or click simply right-click here and add child node, and let's say area to D. I would like to add to area to D. We don't know what this does yet, but doesn't matter. But we have area to D here. So if I want to change all of my other nodes here, I need to manually add area to D to all of other nodes. But what we can do instead also, we can create a separate scene from this. As I said before, scene is just a container for nodes. So we can click on this node to D here, and we can right-click it, and we can click here Save Branch as Scene. Click at this, and we can call this enemy.tscn. Press Enter, and we have this node to D. You can see all of these nodes disappeared from it. There are no these child nodes. They are not anymore here, because that's a separate scene. When we want to see the scene, we need to click here on this icon Open in Editor, and this will open this, and you can see that's the enemy, and now here's the sprite to D and area to D. We can also call it enemy. So we can click here in the node to D3 and call it enemy, and we have here our enemy on the screen. Okay, so now you see that's your enemy here. We can go back to the play scene. So now we can actually switch between the scenes. So this you see when you double click enemy TSCN, that's your enemy. And when you click on the play scene TSCN, that's your play scene. So what you can do, all these nodes here, we can remove like this, and simply now just drag here your enemy into scene. You can just simply drag it like this into the scene directly, and that's your enemies. And now, as I said, whenever we want to add something more to the enemy, it will be added to all of our other enemies. So if I'll go to the icon SVG, not icon SVG, I'm talking first before thinking, go to their enemy TSCN, double click it, and let's say I want to add hands to this player. So I will just click here on the enemy, Ctrl-R, Command-A, and I will select here a sprite to D, double click it. I will call this, so I'll click here inside left hand, L hand. All right, I will now add some sprite to it, so we have only one sprite. So this icon SVG I will drag to the L hand like this. I will change the position of it, just move it outside from here. Change scale of it, so I can go with a scaling tool here. Up here the scale mode, this will open this, and now I can scale it, you see. Or you can also scale it in that when you will go to on the right side in the transform, and you can see the scaling, you can change the X and Y, and it will scale it like this. So let's say this is the hand. So I'll just scale it to 0.37. I'll click here this move mode, so I can move it around. I will put the hand here like this. I will duplicate this left hand, duplicate, and move it to the right like this. This is my other hand. Okay, and yeah, so that's my hands. I will save this. I'll go to the play scene, and you see all of my objects has already these two nodes attached. So I don't need to do these changes individually for each node now, because this in the play scene we have these enemy scenes, and to the enemy scenes I added these two nodes. So all the changes to these enemies here are applied already, because they are basically the same instances of the same scene. So if I do the changes in the scene, all of the changes also outside of it will be applied to the instance of the scene, because all of these enemies are created from the enemy scene. So if I'll do the changes from the enemy scene, all the nodes in the play scene which are enemies have these changes. Okay, now we can just move around enemies. So just click this one, put it further, enemy 2, further, enemy 3, further. Okay, so that's for the enemies. Now let's create a player. So to create a player, we can just create a new scene, or we can add it here and create we can use the save branch as scene as we did before. Just simply click here this plus, create it to this scene. Let's call it player. Okay, let's create here a child node. We are going actually with the animated sprite 2D because we would like to animate a player. So animated sprite 2D. Okay, double click it. Here we have it. I will save it. So Control S Command Save to save the scene. Call this player.tscn. Press Enter. So now we have 3 scenes. We can switch between them. We have an enemy. Click on the enemy. Double click the enemy. Player is currently empty. And the double click play scene. We have a play scene. Perfect. Let's work on the player now. So player TSCN. Go in the player TSCN. Nothing here. So go to your browsers now, and to get some testing assets, go to itch.io, okay, /game assets /free. We are going for free assets. Of course, if you want to use your game in a production, in a commercial use, you should pay for the asset, or even when you're using for hobby projects, go ahead and you can purchase asset you like, of course. For testing, we don't need to purchase anything now. We just want to see how the testings are working. So how the game is working. So just scroll in the assets and look here for who that protagonist. Click on this, or just go to the URL https://penzilla.itch.io/who that protagonist and get this asset. So yeah, this asset is created by the Penzilla user. Give the thumbs up to Penzilla. Just write some nice comments, some positive comments, get good rating to the user. These assets I am using a lot in my game. It's very nice for the simple 2D games. It has everything I need. So the movements, die animation, idle animation, attacks, and so on. So we are going to download it, and before we download it, there is very important information here. This asset has a grid tile size 30 by 32. So you see when you will download this is called sprite sheet. Okay, you will get one simple big image called sprite sheet. Okay, it is called sprite sheet, and sprite sheet is divided into the smaller images here called sprites, and usually in the rows. So you have a sprite sheet, and its sprite sheet has a rows. Okay, and as it says in the description here, this has a grid or tile size of 32 times 32. So each tile here, this is 32 by 32. So this will be 32 times 32. The next tile will be 32 by 32. So you know how to slice this image, okay? So this will be separate into these tiles, 32 by 32. Okay, we are going to download it. So I'll need to rewire this. Okay, so go up here, click here, where is download here, click it, and free, no thanks, just take me to the downloads. Okay, download this character PNG, check the asset standard license before you will use it. Click here, download, it's here, go to the file structure, here is the image, just drag and drop it into your asset. So just hold it, drag and drop it, go to your Godot, and drop it into here. and you have animated sheet character. Now in animated sprite 2D, and you're a player, click at this, go to animation section on the right side, and here you have a sprite frames, click at this, new sprite frames, open them, and here, and you have this bottom menu, okay, for the animations. Okay, so if you want to select the first animation, it's called default one. We can call it idle because we'll be creating the idle animation. We can now in this menu down here, this is this grid called add frames from sprite sheet. Okay, you see it. It's a great icon here. This one here. Click at this and choose your file, animated sheet character. Double click it. Here we have it. We can zoom it in a little bit closer. Plus, plus, plus. Here we are, and size on the right side. Very, very important. It's currently 64 by 72. We saw in the asset that it was specified 32 by 32. Press enter, and now as you can see, it's separated in this grid of 32 by 32 tiles. Now, what looks like an idle animation to you? When I will zoom in closer, to me, it is either this one here. These frames and these frames looks like idle to me, or also this, or maybe this is running actually, or walking. This may be walking. Okay, but anyway, this looks to me as the idle, these 4 frames. So make sure you select them in the correct order. So starting by 1, so it will be 0 index, 1, 2, 3, or simply unselect and just hold your mouse and select this and select this. So it's in the correct order, 0, 1, 2, 3. Click add frames will be added here. If the image is a little bit blurred, you see. So while the animated sprite 2D is selected, go to the texture on the right side, and there is a filter. Select the filter to nearest, and this will make the pixel sharp. Okay? And now you can play animation. So here's the play button. Play this. And this is that animation. And it looks good. You can change also how quick will be animation played, so how many frames per second. Currently it's only 5 FPS, but when you change it to the 10, so click here and change it to 10 and press enter, it'll be 10 FPS and it's much faster. This looks really hyperactive and not that good. So yeah, go back to 5, like this. This looks good. Okay, there are some other options. On the left side, we can say if the animation is looping, whenever unselected, animation will be played only once. Okay, so let's make it looping. So animation is looping, now it's not playing. You see, there's nothing playing, so here is icon. Here is actually play icon, you see? Play select animation here. So here you have the play icon, this. Click and it will play animation. Okay, now to see the player actually, to see the game as it will be run when it will be installed by players, to see the game view, you just you run the project. So Command B here, this icons up here actually. Okay, so you want to run the project, so run the scene. So this here, run project, press it, and this is actually the scene that you want to run as a default scene. So click here cancel, and actually we are going for this. Run current scene, so there's a shortcut for me, it's a Command R, probably on the Windows is a Control R. So when you press Command R, Control R, just press this, or you will just press this icon, this will run your current scene. And you can see nothing is really visible here, because we don't have any camera as the first thing. And yeah, so if you want to see the current scene, if you want to see your player, just click on the player and click Control A or Command A and look for a camera 2D. Press enter and you have a camera now. You can zoom it out a little bit further. You can see the camera view is this pink border here around. You can move around. So center it on the player like this and press Control R now. And you see the player. It's a little further from your camera. So what you will do, shut this game, click X here, click on the camera and you have a zoom on the right side. It's currently 1, zoom it in more. So 5, let's say. Now press Control R or Command R. And now you see the player closer. You see the player is not playing any animation. So cancel it and click again on animated sprite 2D. It's because we don't have autoplay. So you see autoplay on load next to the loop in the animation here. Click autoplay and press Control B, or Control R actually. And now your player will be playing this idle animation. Perfect. Okay, we want to actually place the player into the our play scene. So we can remove the camera 2D from here. We don't need it here actually. Can remove it and go to the play scene. So either navigate from the stop menu here and select your scene, or navigate from this menu down here and select your play scene. So play scene, that we have also our enemies. Now we can add here also player. So just drag and drop your player somewhere here and now we have a player here. Okay. Again, when you want to run this scene, you need to press Ctrl R or Command R, and you see the scene. We don't have a camera here, so it is displaying this default view. Don't mind it. So create here camera now. So click on the play scene, right click here at child node, looking for camera 2D. Again, camera will be here in the middle. You can place it anywhere you want. Place it here and change just zoom to 5555. Okay, Command B, Control R actually to play this, and you see the player in the middle. If the view, this window here is too small for you, you can go up here to project settings, and here we have a application. We are going for display and window. You can change the window size, or you can play the mode, another window, but rather, let's say, maximize or full screen. And you choose the maximized, and you will go close it, and press Ctrl or Command R. You will play the maximized mode, and this looks the full screen. Maybe you want to keep it this way. Or maybe just change the size. So go to the project settings, go to window, and let's change the viewport width to 1920 and 1080. Press enter and change the maximize to windowed. Press enter, close it, and now this should be a little larger. Okay, so here's your player. Okay, now for example, if I am in my enemy view or play in my enemy scene or play scene, and I will press Ctrl or Command R, this will run the current scene. So I'm running now the player scene. I want to actually run here my play scene. Play scene contains enemies and player. So you see in a Godot we have nodes and we have scenes, and scenes is just a container of the nodes. So currently we have 3 scenes, right? We have our play scene. I'll choose a different color. So we have our play scene. Then we have our player scene. Oh, this should be like this. Player scene, and then we have our enemy scene. So enemy, and each of them contains different nodes. So play scene contains a camera. So C for camera it contains player. Actually, there is first root node, right? So the root node is node 2D. Doesn't really matter, node 2D. And under we have a camera, under we have a player, and under we have a couple of enemies, right? In the play scene, we have only root node as a node 2D, and we have an animated sprite, so S for animated sprite, and then I think that's it. An enemy as well, the same node 2D, and we have an animated sprite as well, and some other sprite. Actually, we don't have an animated sprite, but just a normal sprite, so sprite, and some other sprites. Doesn't really matter. So when I will run my scene, so when I will press Ctrl or Command R, this will run the current scene and it will display my current scene. Okay, so in a Godot you can run each scene standalone. But what you want to show to your players when you will be playing the game, actually this will be their play scene, which will be a default scene that contains players and enemies. So this we want to run by default. So run your scene, like standalone scene is good to test out scenes locally, okay, without any other objects in it, just your testing scene. But you need to construct one scene that will be used for actually playing the game, which will contain everything, and it will be your play scene or whatever you want to call it. So just remember, a scene is the collection of nodes. Okay, but what I want to tell you now, we are in a player scene, right? And if I want to play my default scene, I would normally click this here, this sign here, run project, Command B. So if you press the Command B or Control B, this will ask you this. No main scene has ever been defined. Select one. So we'll define here our default scene. So we'll select current, or not select current, but this would choose the player scene as the current scene. So just click here, select, and here you would choose the play scene. Okay, and now it doesn't matter in which scene I am. I can be in my enemy scene, for example, and when I will press Ctrl B or Control B or click this triangle here to run project, this will always select my play scene. That's my play scene that I'm currently now in. Okay, so yes, and you can also change it from when you go to project settings, and yeah, I guess there is this. Just look around here, and you should be able to see what scene is a default. So here, run, not here, not here. It will be somewhere. And there's a lot of settings. Maybe you need to just search here default scene or just a scene. And maybe here, main scene. See, when you search for a scene application run, main scene is currently play scene. So you can change it here if you choose the wrong one. So now every time you will press the Control B, Command B, and you are in the other scenes, it will always open up your play scene. Okay, so this scene here. Okay, let's create some movement to the player. Let's move some enemy closer to the player so we can actually see that something is closer to the player. So let's say this enemy here, I'll just drag it here. Okay, and by the way, depending on tool what you have, you cannot always drag your nodes like this. For example, if I have this third tool selected, rotate mode, I will not able to be dragging my my node. I will be able to rotate it because this is rotation tool, and so on. So make sure that you have selected the right tool. So this move tool or this select mode tool. This will make possible to drag your nodes around. So place this enemy close here. Press Ctrl B or Command B so we can see actually this. And now we are going to create the first script. So to actually move the player, click on the player. When you select the player, we have a transform here, and it transforms the positions. So if you want to move actually player here, we need to programmatically change the positions X and Y, and it will be moving the player around. So what we are going to do, we are going to the script, click here, and new script, and we call it, you can call it player JD, so for a GD script, create, and you will have this player dot script, this player dot GD here, and you are in a script mode by default. So when you select the 2D, you go to the scene. When you click the script, you can see your script here, player.gd. It extends node 2D because the script was attached to the node which is tapped to the node 2D. That's why we are extending node 2D. Okay, what's the very important for this script? You have here the functions are written like this in a Godot. Func, name of the function. We will override the default function called process, like this. In a Godot, you don't have a curly brackets like this. It's more like a Python. So you will just write a column, and here is a function body separated by one tab. We will press the one tab. This is a separation, and this is defining function body. And you can just write here print to print out something on the screen, and let's write here hello world. We'll press. We will save this. And you will press Ctrl or Command B to run the scene, and you will see now hello world will be printed out on your screen, depending on your frame rate, how many times it will be called, because it's process function. If your FPS of your computer, this application is running at 120 FPS, so frames per second, this means this process function will be called 120 times. Okay, so 120 times in a second you will be calling hello world. But what we want to do instead, we want to change the position. So to access the position, because the script is attached to the player, we can access the properties of a node 2D. And one of these properties of node 2D is this position. And to access the position, you can actually access the self.position. Self just means I'm accessing the node because this script is attached to the node 2D. So self is referencing the node 2D. So this entire node 2D. And now I can access my position here and X and Y. So I should be able to change this position. So let's say self position X, the X position, equal current position, so self position X plus 10. Like this. Just save it. Press Ctrl B or Command B, and you'll see we're moving very quickly. And because this is not a frame rate dependent, we need to multiply it by the delta time, because as I told you, this is called 120 times per second. So 120 times per second, I will increase my position by 10, which is creating this very quick movement. So that's why you have a delta here. The delta is time from the last frame, how much time has passed from the last frame. So this time is calculated like this. If you have a 120 frames per second, so in 1 second, you will divide by 120, and this will get you what your time delta is. So it's a very small number. And actually, in this case, 1 divided by 120, it's like something like 0.008. So when you will multiply it, and you will get this smaller value of this position X increment, and when you call it actually 120 times per second, so when you call this 120 per second, you will move this 10 pixels you have specified here. So now you will be creating this frame independent movement. So just multiply it by the delta. Okay, that's usually what you will do. Run this, and you can see now it's player moving at just 10 pixels per second. Okay. Now, how to get the actually inputs from the player so we can register the inputs via pressing on our keys. You can do it like this. You can actually register your own inputs like this. Go to project settings, go to input map, and here we can register our input. So here, add new action. You will call this action. So we want to create this navigation of when you're pressing the W going up, S going down, left A key, and the right key. Or also, not only W, but also arrows on your keyboard. So you're pressing the W or up arrow, D or right arrow, S on down arrow, or A on left arrow on our keys. So what we are going to do, add new action, we'll call it left, so it will be left movement. Press enter, here is the left, and here's this plus sign. Click the plus sign. Now you can configure the event, what keyword you're pressing. So just press A key for the left movement. Just press A on your keyboard, and here select this A key and press OK. And you have a physical key here. And select the left again and click here plus again. And now select the left arrow on your key like this. And you can now choose decide left. So this left action will be defined by pressing of the A key and the left key. Okay. And now just add more actions. So click here for right action. Let's say the left, right, up, and down. Start with the right. So go right, click here plus. So press the D on your keyboard, click OK. Click here plus, click the right arrow, and click OK. Okay, now for up, click here plus, click W, click OK, click here plus, right, actually up arrow, OK, and down, so plus S, OK, and plus down arrow, OK. So that's how it should look like for you. Then it will be this action has been registered, close, go to the process, and now let's write here a variable and call it horizontal. This will be defined by the horizontal movement, and write your input and get action. Wait a second, get input. How it was called? I don't remember this function actually. So it was get something, get action strength, get axis, I think. Get axis, and yeah, here is a negative action and positive action. So okay, it's an input and a get axis function. And I can specify here. So a negative action will be when we are going left. So this will be our left action. So this will be when pressing the A key or a left arrow, and this will be right. And we'll define a vertical movement, vertical, and this will be input get underscore axis, and this will be up and down, like this. Now you can print it out, so you can actually see, print out the horizontal, comma, and vertical. Press enter. We can remove this part here. I have double brackets here. There should be only one bracket around get axis like this. And press Ctrl B or Command B. And now you see it's a 0, 0, 0, but when I'm moving right, it's 1. When I hold the up arrow is -1. When I'm holding right and down is 1, 1. When I'm holding left is -1. So you can see now we have this input value. Depending on what key we are pressing, we have different value. That's very good because now we can create a movement. So what we can do, we can combine this horizontal and vertical into the vector. So vector is just two values. Vector 2 is the two values. So you have like this, let's say value x and value y. So horizontal value can be our value x, and y can be our value. Our vertical value can be our value y. So this is vector 2. Vector 2, x and y, two values. So when I'm pressing the right key, right arrow or D key, this will be 1. When I'm pressing the Y, when I'm pressing the down key or S key on my keyboard, this will be 1 as well. So it will be 1, 1, 1. And yeah, now we can combine this in a vector, as I said. So var movement equal vector, you look at it like this. You just access here vector and access here horizontal and vertical. Okay, and now access yourself dot position plus equal current position, so self position plus your movement vector multiplied by delta time, by delta. Okay, this will create very slow movements. Maybe we could create here some speed value, so we can maybe multiply it by 100 to get more speed. remove everything else. Okay, and press Control B, and actually we don't see anything now. Let me take a look. Horizontal, vertical, combine into the vector. Self position equal, not plus equal, just equal like this, and now press it. And now when I press the arrows or the WASD, we are moving around. Okay. And when you're moving diagonally, you're moving faster when you're moving purely horizontally or vertically. Why is that? Because if you are moving, let's say, imagine this, you're moving one speed to the right, one, and one speed to the up. This is creating this exactly, you're moving at the same time up and down. This is creating this diagonal movement. And when the length of this is 1 and 1 horizontally and vertically, this movement looks like this. Okay? And we know that these diagonals in the triangles here, when you create a triangle, they are longer. This is definitely larger than 1. This is 1 point something. That's why you're diagonally going faster. Okay? When you're going purely horizontally or vertically, the length of the movement is just 1. But diagonally, when you're adding 1 here and 1 here, it's faster. That's why the diagonal movement, when I'm holding the two arrows at the same time, appears faster. To make it slower and to normalize it to the value 1, we will do this. We will create a variable. I will call it n underscore movement, which is a normalized movement, equal movement. I will call here function normalized like this. And then I will be working with a normalized value. So instead of the movement, I will place here normalized movement. Save this, Control B, Control B or Command B, and now the horizontal diagonal movement should be the same. Okay, now one thing, the camera is not following the player, right? So to follow the player, I will create a new script. Click on your camera 2D, go to the script section, open this, create here a new script, and call it follow underscore camera. This will open the script here, and again we'll get here process function underscore process. What we want to change, so how to create a camera movement so the camera is following the player. So at each frame we want to adjust the camera position to be the same as my player position. Okay, but first thing we need to get here our player. This is showing the error because I don't have a function body, so just write here some empty function body. If you want to have an empty function body and nothing more, just use here keyword pass to get rid of the error. So to get actually our player position to our camera, we'll write here something called export. So assign export, this special keyword, and now variable and target. Let's call it just a target, and we can specify also type of the target will be node 2D. That's a base type for almost everything here, node 2D. Node 2D is a position in the space, X and Y position. Okay, so we have this export. When you will select the camera 2D, you will see on the right side, now we have this target here. We can choose and assign. When you click here assign, we can choose here between these, or we can simply go to our left side to the play scene and drag your player from here to the target. And now in your script of the camera, you will be able to access your target, which is your player currently. So what we want to do here now, access your target, or actually the target are your self position, so our camera position, and assign there our target position like this. So we'll be adjusting the position so the camera position will be the same as the target, and this will create this follow effect. By the way, you don't need to really access this self keyword if you don't want. If you don't access the self keyword, it's provided behind the scenes by the Godot, and you don't need to really specify the self. So if this is not clear enough for you, that the position here is my camera position, you can explicitly say here self position. Now it's maybe more understandable for you. When you see the self, you know, okay, that's the position of this game object, and this script is attached to. Okay, so this script is attached to the camera, obviously. So self position is changing the position of the camera to be the same as the target position. Target position is whatever we will assign to the editor here, which is our player. So now when you will play the game, Control B or Command B, you see you are changing, you are following the player with the camera. The one problem here, we are not turning into the position we are facing. So if I'm moving left, I'm not really turning to the left side, which is not really that nice. So what we can do, you go to our player, GD, and here we can flip the player. When you will go to your, player here, click on the player scene. Here, when you will select animated sprite, go to also to the view, so you see actually your player, you zoom it in. You animated sprite, on the right side you have something called offset property, and offset has a flip H and flip V. Flip H is a flip horizontal, flip V is a flip vertical. And you will toggle it and set it to the true, you will be facing the other direction. So you're flipping your sprite horizontally, see, or vertically, like this. Okay, so flip horizontal is good. We need to use it when we are moving the left side. Okay, so go back to your player script, go open your scripts here. And now this is the position. So here we can write a if statement. Okay, so we can write a if, and we can check if we are moving at all. To check if we are moving at all, we can write here if movement length is larger than 0. This means we are moving, column, and in the if statement we'll write some code. So let's say if the horizontal movement is larger than 0, this means we are moving horizontally, then we don't need to flip anything. So let's write here print and no flipping. Otherwise, so else if, that's for else if, is the vertical is smaller, or horizontal actually vertical. Don't do anything with the vertical. Horizontal is smaller than 0, then we need to flip. So column, and okay, zoom it in for you a little bit, like this. The editor a little bit. So if, let's write here print and flipping. Okay, so now when I run the scene, you'll see in the console no flipping on the right side, but the left side is display flipping. So we should flip the sprite. How to do it? I already showed you that we need to change the animated sprite property of flip H. So first I need to access in my player script, I need to access my animated sprite. So to do this, we already explained that we can use the export like this and var. We can call it animated underscore sprite. We can specify here type of animated sprite to D. Now we have this export, and we will click on the player. You see, click on the player, and you should be able to see. We don't have a player script attached, but why the player isn't attached to the player? Wait a second, how it was able to run even then? It's very weird. We can go to our play scene, and yeah, here it's attached. You see, we attached it here, but in our play scene itself, we didn't attach the script to the player. So please get your player GD and attach it here as well. Okay, and now we have an animated sprite here, and we can drag here animated sprite the player. And now we can go to the player script. So go to the scripts here, click on the player, or just select the player script here. Okay. Now we can access the animated sprite and we can flip it. Okay, so if I will go here, I'll add here animated sprite and flip horizontal. In this case, no flipping, so false value. Okay, and when we will go to horizontal down here, flipping is true, we'll be flipping like this. Run this, and you should be able to flip left and right. It is good. Okay, this looks already much better. I will show a different way how you can export, how you get animated sprite here. So other ways to get animated sprite here is write your function, and this function is called the ready function. So when your basically your node is added to the tree, it's registered as a tree into your play scene, then this ready is called. Okay, you can actually hover over, and you can see here called when a node is ready. So when both a node and its children have entered the scene tree. So that's just an initialization function where you can initialize some things. And in case then you don't have an export here, and you know that the animated sprite is for sure part of the player, then you can access like animated sprite and access this through this function. You can call here a function get node, and you can get here your animated sprite to this way. Okay, and this way we don't need any export here. We can just run this, and this will work the same. Also shortcut, if you don't want to ready this way, you can write also ready like this. You can write here again the special keyword @, and on ready. Actually do it like this. You need to place it in front of the var here, so on ready, and equal, and you can assign it straight away here. You can even drag and drop it from your scene here from the left side, so I can just get my animated sprite to D and drop it here, and it will assign it here. You see with this syntax $assign animated sprite to D, and now it will be assigned to the variable of animated sprite. So I don't need this part. If you want to comment it out, because you don't need this part down here, just press Ctrl or Command and \/ on your keyboard, and this will comment it out. So it will be Great, out. Okay, very good. So now it should work the same, so we can place the game, and yeah, it's flipping. Now just the running animation is missing here. You can see we're not playing any running animation, so to fix it, we'll click on our animated sprite 2D here. Click here the sprite frames on the bottom. Currently we have only idle. We'll add here a new one, so just right click here, and actually we can right click here, just click here this plus sign here under animation, add animation, and call this animation run. Okay, click this this icon here, add frames from sprite sheet. Click at this, select the sprite sheet, and select your sprite. So 32 by 32 is already selected, and the running looks to me it's this one here, this row, this fourth row. So just select the first frame, hold the mouse, and select them all the way. Make sure they are in a correct order, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If the order is not good, just unselect and select it one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it and drag it. Okay, press add frames. Go back to the 2D view so we can actually see the player. So up here, choose the 2D view. Here is this. You can play this. That's the play. It's a little bit slow. Maybe you want to go for this effect that frame rate is a little bit slower. But for me, the FPS, 5 FPS for run is too slow. I will change it to 10. Just press it to 10. And that's how it looks like for 10 FPS. That's good for me. Okay. But when you run your game, the run animation will be not there. We are in a default idle animation. So now, depending on the movement, we need to change the animated sprite, what animation the animated sprite is playing. Very simple. Go back to player, click on the scripts here, make sure in the player script. Okay, we'll create here a variable up here. The variable that will tell me if we are moving or not. So click here var, call this is underscore moving, will be boolean, and will assign we are moving, not false. In the beginning of the process, I will access my isMoving variable, and I will assign here we are not moving. Now, if the movement length is larger than 0 here, that's for sure we are moving. So here I'll set is underscore moving to true. All right, and this means we are moving. So I will create here a new function. Down here I will call it underscore handle underscore animations column. By the way, if you are prefixing your function name with the underscore, this means the function should be private. It should be called only from inside of the current script. It shouldn't be called outside. In JD script, you don't have any private public, so that's the convention you use. Prefix it with the underscore. Okay, so handle animation, and here we can check if we are moving. So if is moving, then we want to play idle animation. So access your animated sprite and call here function play. Specify here animation name is already offering us idle or run. So choose here idle. Actually, we are moving. Actually, run. We are running when we are moving. In other case, so else, this means we are not moving. So animated sprite dot play and here idle like this, and that's your movement. So go and save this, play the game, and here we are not playing anything actually still. Okay, why is that? Let's take a look. Animated sprite, we are playing run idle. That's correct. We are not calling handle animation. So here in the process, we need to also call, of course, handle animation at each frame. So press here enter and move it on this level, the same as the if here, and call here underscore handle animations. Okay. Save this, run the game, and you should be able to see that standing, idle, running, moving. We are playing the running animation. Perfect. So, yeah, here we have it. Very simple movement. We have managed to do it under 1 hour. Set up the scene, set up everything very quick. You can see Godot is very quick. The running and everything is super quick. Not waiting any compilation because JD script, the scripting language, is interpreted language. It's not compiled, so there is no compiling. That's why it's executing so fast. Okay, if you want to learn more and get more detailed instructions from me, you see this video was super quick. I went over the topics super quickly, but if you would like to get more slow explanations, explain everything detailedly, lecture by lecture, then I have a course about this. So you can find the course in the description. Okay, so that's gonna be it from it, and hopefully you learned something. Let me know if something is not clear in the comments. Cheers.